fire extinguisher technicians, and countless other figures. The tapes contain absurd oddities such as 8 continuous hours of random loft sounds in 1964, Smith puttering around doing not much of anything, making paranoid phone calls, street noise floating through the windows, the constant trickle of water from his darkroom sink. Smith recorded myriad sounds from TV and radio, too. James Baldwin, MLK and Malcolm X on a panel, MLK giving speeches in Birmingham, JFK's election and assassination, Walter Cronkite reading Cold War news, the Cuban Missile Crisis, the 1960 World Series between the Yankees and the Pirates, Cassius Clay's first fight versus Sonny Liston, Dorothy Parker reading her work, Leontine Price singing Verdi's Requiem. Late-night Long John Nebel talk shows with callers talking about UFOs and alien abductions, Ed Sullivan, Mr. Magoo, Beckett's Waiting for Godot and Krapp's last tape, and Jason Robarb's reading Fitzgerald's The Crack-Up, among many others. In Tucson, where this shipment arrived, the ill, damaged Smith rolled around the gymnasium in a wheelchair, complaining that things were missing and expressing suspicion toward the university officials who were trying to make sense of the chaos. In pictures from this time, Smith looks like a man 3 decades older. The lectures he gave as part of the university's acquisition of his archive were recorded, and on these tapes one can hear him dying. He mumbles, slurs words, and struggles to breathe. But he's still making wisecracks. I never make jokes at the beginning of my lectures. Pause, deep breath, because I usually manage to get plenty of laughs without trying. Laughter in the room. A doctor's report from 2 years earlier indicated that Smith had diabetes, cirrhosis of the liver, severe hypertension with an enlarged heart, and chronic lower leg and dermatitis problems due to bad blood circulation. The doctor wrote "no alcohol" on the report and underlined it. When Smith gave his lectures in Tucson, students noticed that he sipped glasses of vodka or scotch and ice. In addition to alcohol, Smith was addicted to amphetamines and prescription and over-the-counter pills for most of his adult life. The pills fueled marathon sessions in the darkroom, 3, 4, 5 days in a row without sleeping. There is evidence he used something injected through a needle, probably a more potent amphetamine, during his loft years. Less than a year after Smith and his archive arrived in Tucson, he was at a convenience store buying food for his cats when he collapsed. A rescue squad took him to the hospital. His next-door neighbors in Tucson fed his cats while he was hospitalized, and the condition of his house was so awful they were compelled to photograph it. The pictures are gross, stomach-turning, some of the worst living conditions I've ever seen, and sad. Mounds of moldy dishes, filthy clothes and linens, garbage everywhere, and cats doing the best they can. The pictures of this house make Smith's legendarily messy, funky New York loft look livable. Smith died a few days later. His death certificate read stroke, but as was said of the immortal jazzman Charlie Parker, Smith died of everything. He was flat worn out. He'd given up. He left $18 in the bank and 44,000 pounds of materials. After 20 years of research, 24 cross-country visits to Smith's archive, and more than 500 interviews in 26 states and Japan, I finished writing this book in Durham, North Carolina, standing at my bar-high desk made from Eugene Smith's 8-foot stainless steel darkroom sink, the same sink he installed in his 6th Avenue loft in the late 1950s. Behind my desk sits his custom-made heart of pine light board that he used to inspect negatives. Smith's son, Patrick, the toddler holding hands with his little sister, Juanita, in the iconic 1946 photograph, The Walk to Paradise Garden, sold his father's equipment to me in 2006 when he and his wife, Phyllis, were cleaning out their basement in Pleasant Valley, New York. "The deal is," he told me, "you have to take all of it. You can't cherry-pick the valuable things. And if I ever want it back, you have to sell it to me at the same price." A few weeks later, Pat and his son Link loaded a truck and drove the equipment down to Durham. I wanted Smith's darkroom sink to become useful for me, too, but not in his original manner of using it. It's resting in a metal frame made for me in 2012, a desktop formed by a sheet of security glass resting on the top of the basin, held in place by rubber bumpers. If somebody wanted to